Now it is.
Try it again. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kelly, the Peer Support Specialist at Waterville Peer Recovery Center. This is the 10 o'clock vocational group, and we have guest speakers Doug Dunbar and Stacy Henderson from EMDC. Go ahead.
All right. Well, thanks, Kelly. We appreciate being here. We are from Eastern Maine Development Corporation. EMDC is our acronym, and we help people with education, training, and employment. And many of our customers, we call them, many of our customers are people in recovery, like me and like Stacy. And so we sort of have this lived experience. In my case, I drank excessively. Alcohol was my substance for 3 decades, for 30 years, really. I drank, and I drank to deal with 2 mental illnesses that I never told anyone about: obsessive compulsive disorder and anxiety disorder. And I kept that a secret from my family and friends and relatives for years and years and years. I just dealt with it through routines and rituals, even prayers that I said. OCD is a fascinating illness, but it was tormenting for years and years. And I went to work in government, and not until I was working on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. many years ago, did I start self-medicating with alcohol. And I became an alcoholic. And then it led to very bad decision-making. And eventually I was arrested the first time. And I thought that that would come to light. And all my secrets of mental illnesses and self-medicating, the fact that I become an alcoholic, all of that would come to light. But it didn't. Not until my 6th arrest in 2017 did it all come crumbling down. I went to jail for a few months. That ended my career in government. And then I spent 15 months in the Penobscot County Drug Court program. And during that time, I met so many people suffering from substance use disorder. And I learned so much about a variety of drugs that I was unfamiliar with. And it led to my work at EMDC. Someone I used to be a colleague with in the governor's office many years ago, Lee Humphrey, had become the president and CEO of EMDC. And he told me that the organization helps people with education, training, and employment. And he said, if I joined, we would do more outreach and provide more services to people in recovery, people with mental health issues, people leaving jails and prisons. And so I said, sign me up. And that's the work I've been doing for the past 2 years. And one of the first projects that came my way was to help write a grant to the federal government on behalf of EMDC and the Maine Department of Labor. And we sought $6.2 million to do more of this, to provide more services, more outreach to people in recovery. And so we have this relatively new project called Connecting with Opportunities. It's available statewide, and it does a variety of things to help people get into education, training, or employment. And again, that is our focus. I've said it 3 times now, so you should understand. Education, training, and employment is what Stacy and I focus on, and EMDC. EMDC serves 9 counties. We wrote the grant for the state, but as a service provider, we cover 9 counties, including Kennebec. And I have talked long enough, so I'll let Stacy explain her role in this, because her role is unique and really, really important. And when she's done, I'll just go through a very quick PowerPoint, and we'll see if there are any questions. Stacy.
Thank you, Doug. I'm Stacy Henderson, and I'm a peer connector with EMDC out of Kennebec County. A little bit about myself. October was 2 years that I have been sober. Pills was my drug of choice. It started back in 2002 when I had a brain surgery, and it didn't go right. So I was prescribed medicine, and then over the years built up tolerance and an addiction came with it. And then 2 years ago, I wanted my life back. I've been through different treatments and on again, off again. And so this 2 years ago, when I decided to get sober, it stuck. So I was with the FSET program through Goodwill Industries, and they told me about EMDC services. And they were like, not only do they want you as a participant, but they want to hire you as a peer connector. So I did the interview process and I got hired with EMDC, and they gave me a chance, and I'm a peer connector. And what a peer connector does is I work strictly with the Connecting with Opportunities grant. So when a participant comes in, we determine eligibility and we help them. We go through a registration process. And then once we know that they're all registered, and they do some assessments and workshops through EMDC for career exploration, then once we get a training plan in place for whether they want education or a job experience like training certifications, then what we do then is after a training plan is in place, we set up our supportive services, which that's where the money part of the grant comes in, where we help them with uniforms, clothing, some childcare, car repairs, if they need a laptop for schooling or for their work and training. And we offer those services. That way we can help them connect the dots to their little to achieve their big goals. And the peer connectors work side by side with the workforce development specialists. And we're kind of like the little middleman to help upload documents and whatnot and reach out to our participants, keep in contact, making sure that they're doing everything on their end. And if they don't understand something or having trouble, we just kind of help them and guide them along the way. So we're kind of like a buddy system. And it is amazing. The people that I help are just so amazing, because they don't even realize that they could have this chance, because they think because they have a past, whether convictions or drug addiction, they feel that they're only good enough to work at like convenience stores or retail. They don't realize that they can go to school and stuff. So they're given the second chance. And EMDC is so amazing to offer this second chance to those people to help them. It's great. I love my job. I've never been to a job where I want to go every day. I don't like not working. So it's amazing to be able to help people in recovery. And it's relatable because I'm in recovery. I got
Yeah,
sober and it
absolutely.
can happen.
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. Yeah, Stacy is both an employee of Eastern Maine Development Corporation and a participant in this Connecting with Opportunities initiative. So the benefits of the initiative are available to her, but she's also, receiving a salary and as an employee of EMDC. So I'm going to put on the screen just very quickly this PowerPoint, and we'll just zip through this. Again, the first slide tells the story that this is about bringing hope and new beginnings to individuals impacted by opioid use disorder and to others who have not been impacted but wish to address the ongoing crisis, which sadly claims really more than one young Mainer each day. And we don't need to spend much time on this. We know that Maine has been profoundly impacted negatively by the opioid crisis. Among the states in this country, we rank among the worst in terms of bad outcomes. And there was some hope in 2018 when overdose deaths declined, but they rose again in 2019. And then because of COVID last year, when the final numbers are in, it will be the worst year in Maine and nationally by quite a bit, I'm afraid. So Connecting with Opportunities, because of our funding source, it is focused on people who are unemployed, dislocated workers, or long-term unemployed individuals. And if someone has been impacted, either personally or indirectly, by opioid use disorder, meaning that a family member, a relative, or even a friend has been impacted, and they feel that that has indirectly impacted them, then they're in track one, as it says on the screen. Track one really opens up any avenue of study or employment where there are jobs. So if somebody wants to be a truck driver, an electrician, wants to, be a substance use disorder treatment provider, wants to be a recovery coach, wants to go into almost any field where there are, jobs. We can't hire people for a type of work where there really are no jobs in Maine. It wouldn't make sense. But if there are plentiful jobs, we can generally support what the person's interested in doing. And track 2 is for people who have not been impacted. So opioid use disorder has really not impacted their life at all. They're still eligible as long as they're dislocated worker or long-term unemployed. But in this case, they would be limited to fields like mental health treatment or substance use disorder treatment, fields that will help us to mitigate or diminish the overall crisis. And so, as Stacy indicated, everybody who comes to us has a plan. We work with the individual to develop a specific plan just for that person. Everyone gets a case manager. We call this person a workforce development specialist, but they also get someone like Stacy, a peer, someone in recovery who works with them every step of the way. And we can pay for education programs, training programs. So some people come to us and want to go to school, and so we help them with that. And as Stacy also mentioned, not only do we pay for school, but we might pay for things like a laptop computer. We might pay for childcare so the individual can take those classes. We might help with transportation if transportation is needed to get to those college courses, or to get to the adult education center if those classes are provided in person. So there are a lot of supportive services in addition to helping people with education and training. And some people come to us and just want to go to work, and that's great too. And we want to help them with that. It might mean helping them with a resume and a cover letter, helping them to learn how to interview, buying clothing for them so that they have new outfits to go to job interviews. It might help with dental work. If a lack of teeth is holding someone back from pursuing education, training, or employment, we want to help with that. So again, the plan is focused on helping someone ultimately become employed. And for a lot of people, that means going to school. For some people, though, it means just getting support to land that job. And another way that we use our resources and try to open doors for people is to create an on-the-job training. So we might turn to a business and we might say, hey, we've got this guy named Doug, and we think he'd be a good fit for your business, but we know you're reluctant because Doug has a criminal record. But we will pay for up to half the salary for you to give Doug a chance for, say, 3 or 4 months. And at the end of that, we hope it works out well for you and for Doug, and you keep him on. So this is a way to open doors that otherwise might not open for someone and lead to steady, permanent employment. And as we've mentioned, plenty of supportive services to go along with this: transportation, childcare, maybe emergency housing if something comes up for one of our participants, help with technology, clothing, and even dental care, as I mentioned. And so we're developing partnerships all over the state with places like the Waterville Recovery Center. And, through this effort, we're trying to raise awareness, which is what we're doing today. We hope people will refer themselves or other people to us. And the simple way to do that is to send an email to opportunitygrant@emdc.org. Again, opportunitygrant@emdc.org. And you don't even have to write much. You can just send an email and say, hi there, I've copied my friend Doug on this email. Why don't you tell him about what you do? Or someone can self-refer. They can send an email and just say, hi there, I'd like to learn about what this Connecting with Opportunities thing is all about, and we'll get right back to them. And this is a statewide program. Again, Eastern Maine Development Corporation, where Stacy and I work. We cover 9 counties, including Kennebec. And then there's a Aroostook County Action Program, which serves Aroostook County solely. And then Workforce Solutions covers the other 6 counties in Maine down the coast, north to south from Waldo County down to York. And so we thank you for letting us be here and letting us share some information. And with that, I will stop talking and see if there are questions or other comments.
It sounds like you guys are doing some amazing work for the community. I know I had signed up for the program myself before I was hired at the Waterville Peer Recovery Center. I didn't really get to do much with it, but it was great to have that there.
Well, we're glad you were hired and that you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
You're doing great things.
I'm, like you guys, in long-term recovery and just trying to help pull the people out of those dark places that we used to be in. It's
Yeah.
a pretty sad and lonely place to be. So I had a whole bunch of questions that I wrote down, but you really had covered everything.
Well, we've been doing this for a while now. Although Connecting with Opportunities is relatively new, we've been doing this for about 8 or 9 months, and we really need participants. Because of COVID, it hasn't been as easy to do outreach. We had hoped that people like Stacy, our peer connectors, could be out in the community going everywhere and meeting people one-on-one and in groups, and that just has been more difficult. So we're trying to serve almost 700 people statewide. And at this point, we probably should have maybe about 400 people enrolled statewide. And we're probably more like 250 enrollments. So we really need participants. And if anyone's watching this, if you remember nothing else, remember this: we have lots of money. You don't hear that often. We have lots of money to help people. And so even if someone thinks that they may not qualify for this, that's okay. Still, come to us. Send an email to opportunitygrant@emdc.org, because Connecting with Opportunities is just one of several programs that we administer and that are available statewide. There's a standard statewide and nationwide workforce development program called WIOA. That's an acronym, WIOA. And if someone's not eligible for Connecting with Opportunities, they might well be eligible for WIOA. And it serves people who are unemployed, but also people who are employed, working, but earning very little. And so I say, if anyone is unemployed or earning little and just wants a helping hand to change or to move forward in some way, give us a call, send us an email, take 15 minutes to see what we can do for you. In some cases, it can be life-changing. There are people who are now in college who have new teeth, who are getting help with childcare so they can move forward with their education, their training. So 15 minutes could absolutely change your life. So contact us.
So I did think of one question. Are people that are currently receiving disability still eligible?
Yeah, absolutely. We work with people who are receiving disability, and sometimes it's an issue of determining how many hours, for example, they might be able to work without disrupting their benefits. So yes, people can come to us even if they're receiving benefits from another source. Absolutely. So there are really no restrictions on people who can come to us and who we can serve in one way or another.
Excellent. And you said long-term unemployment. It's like what, 27, 29 weeks? That's considered long-term?
Yeah, absolutely. 27 or more weeks without what I call a real paying job. Yes, that makes you long-term unemployed. That's what the federal government considers long-term unemployed. A dislocated worker, you could be, very recently dislocated from your job and be eligible. A dislocated worker is someone whose job ended through no fault of their own, and they're eligible for or receiving unemployment benefits. So, we help people who, basically just lost their job recently. As long as you're eligible for unemployment or you're receiving unemployment, you can turn to us. You're considered a dislocated worker in that case.
And we also have a COVID grant, which is a resource grant with a peer navigator. So if you've lost your job, you need help with housing or signing up for SNAP benefits, unemployment, we have a COVID grant, and we have a great team there too who can help and offer their assistance and resources to help you during the pandemic with things that you may need. Some people may need, just some information about local food pantries or clothing closets, essential closets. So the Joanne and her team can help with that. So we have a lot of different grants under EMDC's umbrella. And that's what we want to do, is try to help everybody that we can.
Well, you're certainly extending the invitation. Hopefully we can get you some participants.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, again,
thank you.
if anybody wants to sign up for their program, what's the email address?
The best address, although I'm going to change my address in my screen here, the best address is Opportunity Grant, all one word, Opportunity Grant at emdc.org. And you can feel free also, anyone seeing this, hearing this, can contact me. My email address is now in my little box. It is ddunbar@emdc.org. So Opportunity Grant at emdc.org or ddunbar at emdc.org. And we will connect you with people who can help you move forward as fast as you would like to move.
Now, I also send a lot of introductory emails your way too. So if
Yeah.
anybody forgets that email address, they can contact me or Emery at the center, and we will get these people to you.
Great, great. Well, terrific.
Right.
Thank you. We appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations to
You
you
too.
both on your long-term recovery, and thank you so
You
much for the
too.
work
Thank
that
you.
you're doing for the community. It's been wonderful having you today, and hopefully this helps some people.
Excellent. Thanks for all you're doing, and everyone at the Waterville
Yes,
Center.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.